Welcome back. I am the and this is Confessing Lies or Telling Stories. We are a truth seeking channel. We do it intelligently, we do it diligently, and we do it together. Very, very simple. Let's get started.
Okay, someone figured out if you're watching Fox News and you look at the little bottom corner of the screen and you reverse the image, then about every 30 seconds, you're going to see the words. And you know they love inverting, reversing things, right? You got to look at things. Sometimes if you play music backwards, you'll hear different audio, right? It's all about the conditioning and the programming. Well, if you look, it says every 30 seconds, war and evil won, which of course it's live and raw now, but it's very interesting that if you just reverse it, they're telling you another side of the story. Some people, though, this will not compute, it doesn't make sense. They wouldn't do such a thing when they don't know maybe how much is hidden in plain sight. And the way the human mind works with repetition and subliminal programming. We all know that there used to be propaganda. That's not a consideration. Everyone knows, yes, of course, propaganda was a thing. But to think that it's happening now on our television networks and whatnot is like far out of a thought. And that is based on zero evidence.
You may think something like this doesn't exist, but it does. Our brains are trained to do this. What they call anagrams or something. All the words jump it up and we'll figure out which word it is. There's dyslexia, where some people just see things like this. They learn like this. Are you sure that these are disabilities? Are you sure that our brain is not supposed to be able to do this? Because they sure seem to hide a whole lot of things backwards. We were playing albums backwards. Some of them say something. So even though we don't hear it backwards, what happens if our brain does? What happens if we process it just the same, whether we recognize it or not? We know there's subconscious and we know there's conscious. So I looked at it. Yeah, it says that. And how in reverse, this is what, really? War and evil one? Coincidence? Okay.
These creatures looked exactly like this. They are the type of alien creature that has been known and feared throughout Africa for generations. This creature is about 3 feet tall. It looks for all the world like a child who is on the last stages of dying of malnutrition. It looks exactly like this, and it has a strange smell, which once you smell it, you shall never forget it. This creature is known by the Zulu-speaking people of South Africa as a mantindane. The word mantindane comes from the verb ntinda, which means to abuse, to fiddle with, and to torture by interfering with the victim's and other private parts. This is an exact description of the Mantindan. It does exactly that. For hundreds of years, even mighty nations such as the Zulus, even powerful warrior nations such as the Botswanas and Xhosas lived in mortal fear of these creatures.
I want you to think for a second, and then I'm going to ask you a rhetorical question. How many things are accepted worldwide, and what kind of things are they? For example, gravity. Everybody knows gravity. Everybody accepts the fact that we walk on the ground because of gravity. The sun. we need oxygen to breathe. These are the types of things that are accepted worldwide. Macro things. Why is this everywhere? There is not one civilization that doesn't believe it. I looked. A lot of time on my hands. I looked. There are records of seeing, believing everywhere in the world. Now, out of the things that are accepted worldwide, how many of them are not true? Because I'm not floating away. Neither are you. So gravity's true. I saw the sun today. Did you? If not, because it rained, but is it still there? Yeah. Are you still here? Okay, so air is still there. I'm just checking. So if everything else that's worldwide, like Antarctica, we accept that worldwide too. So that should tell you something. Anyway, everybody doesn't tell the same lie. Okay? That's what I'm getting at. It's everywhere, which means they're somewhere.
Here's the real reason why they're pushing the alien disclosure right now, and it's not what you think. What I'm about to tell you will change how you see everything happening. The elites are preparing for an alien disclosure, not because they're suddenly caring about the truth. They're doing it because they've lost control of the narrative. Thousands of people are waking up and raising their frequency. And when you raise your frequency, you start perceiving dimensions that they don't want you accessing. You start seeing through the illusion, you see? So they're going to use an alien disclosure as a limited hangout to give you some truth to distract you from the bigger truth. The bigger truth is you are not just human consciousness in a body. You are a multi-dimensional infinite awareness temporarily focused in a physical form. The same cosmic intelligence that created galaxies is operating through you right now. They tell you about aliens to keep you looking outward for salvation, but the real awakening happens when you start looking inward and recognizing that you already are connected to the infinite intelligence that they have been hiding. That's a disclosure that actually terrifies them.
I mean, what else needs to be said? We've looked to them our entire existence for what the truth is, for what the purpose is. Have they delivered yet? No. So maybe we need to go the other direction and go inward, because that's where the answers really are. I've already told you that when it comes to their toys, when they're done with them, they give them to us to play with. Cell phones, AI, these are just things they're done with. And they've been done with them for quite some time before they give it to us. Part of their toy collection are their narratives. And apparently, they're about to be done with this narrative that they've been using for decades. So if they're done with the alien narrative, then I can only wonder and dread what their next narrative is going to be. Because if they give us the aliens, that means they're done with that narrative. What else are they cooking up?
If your ultimate goal is to be famous, you're gonna do a lot to get there, like sign your name in blood in a contract with the devil.
I swear I wanted to be like the Amy Grant of music. Yeah. But it didn't work out, and so I sold my soul to the devil.
Felt something else come into me. Sasha, get it.
I sold my soul to the devil. I know it's a crappy deal.
Roman is a crazy boy who lives in me. I ask him to leave, but he can't. He's here for a reason. People have brought him out. People conjured him up. Now he won't leave.
I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead. I let all that get to my head. I don't care, I paint the town red. I gotta sell my soul, cause I can't say no, I can't say no. Then my limbs are frozen, my eyes won't close, and I can't say no, I can't say no.
I know. This is one of those duh clips. Of course. We all know this. I didn't put it in here to educate. I put it in here to direct energy towards it. They move so fast with these distractions that we tend to forget many of them. We tend to pivot away. But this is one of the fundamental ones. So I just want to put some energy on it. That's why it's in there. But it's not up for debate anymore. We already know what this is.
Begin transmission.
Here we go.
Why did witches and healers always have cats? It wasn't aesthetics. The cat was the medical equipment. A cat's purr isn't affection. It's biotechnology. It vibrates between 25 and 140 hertz. This exact frequency is used in hospitals to regenerate fractured bones. They call it therapeutic ultrasound. But the cat is the portable version, and it's free. Studies have proven it. This vibration increases bone density. It speeds up tissue regeneration by up to 3 times. That's why cats rarely break bones. They spend the day doing vibrational self, physiotherapy. When a cat lies exactly where you feel pain, it's not a coincidence. It is healing you. It senses the inflammation and applies the correct frequency. The witches knew it. Science proved it. The cat is a biological healing machine. But purring is not the only healing magic that exists. If you want to learn more magic, follow me, or we will never see each other here again.
I try to be very unbiased with my clip selection. And if you watched any of my previous videos, you know how I feel about cats. I just don't trust them. Okay? And why? Because as this video proves, 9 lives, healing this, doing that, the way they can just rub up against you, like, I don't like any of it. What bothers me the most is cats seem to be everything else in the world but cats. Just be a cat. Just lick yourself, go do your thing in the little kitty litter, cover it up, disappear all day, or lay on the windowsill. Just be a cat, man.
I promise that I am a time traveler. Yes, in 2045, in full force, we are completely converging with robots. Yes, we can completely upload our mind into a robot and simulation, which we can live in forever. Yes, I've been in many of those simulations. You can visit and do anything you want. I actually prefer the past. I enjoy the history part of it instead of the fictional part of it involved with the simulations. The main reason I actually came back here was because it's around before the time that I was born. I was born December 6, 2019. Yes, I will be born later this year. Yes, in fact, I have numerous amounts of evidence, including a map of the new world. I would, in fact, be open to drawing a picture of the aliens. I can also show you some technology from the future as well. I think all the viewers out there will be really amazed with what I have to show. In the future, holographic displays replace most of regular screen displays. Yes, augmented reality is becoming big. We in fact have contact lenses that can project augmented reality for whoever is the wearer. In fact, you can link 2 contact lenses. If 2 people would like to see the same thing, they can link the 2 contact lenses together and be seeing the same image. Yes, we have underwater cities, much like what you guys would call Atlantis today, becomes a reality in the future. Yes, we do have dinosaur zoos in the future. You can see T-Rexes, Triceratops, Velociraptors. If they existed, you can see it. Yes, people can go and visit things in the past life, to go visit the dinosaurs or major world events. They go in something that you would probably think of as a modern day UFO. In fact, most UFO sightings in this time are future time travelers. There are people in those UFOs from the future coming back to watch past events. The UFOs have a technology to make them invisible, but at some times they can be faulty or the invisibility can fail, which leads to a UFO sighting. If anyone has any doubts or questions about what I have said, just wait and you will see that everything that I have described will come true. But I will also be happy to answer any questions anyone has.
The most disturbing thing about this is that's like what, 19 years? Uh-oh. Not sure if I'm ready. Wow. So let's just hope that this works out for us, because 19 years is not long. It'll be here in no time, but with the way technology is moving, completely believable, especially with the amount of information they're hiding. I, for one, believe they've already figured out time travel. They just don't want us to have it, because we're out of here, dude. At least I'm going back to the 90s. I had a blast. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on it. Possible, real, here, or about to be here in 19 years.
What if we're actually the aliens? Think about it. Every time we imagine extraterrestrial life, we picture something arriving here, a ship tearing through the clouds, or a signal coming from deep space. But what if we've been thinking about it completely backwards? Humans are the only species on Earth that seem oddly disconnected from nature. Every other creature fits into the world around it naturally. Animals don't need sunscreen. They don't struggle in heat the way we do. Yet humans are fragile in ways that feel strange for a species that supposedly evolved here over millions of years. We're also the only species that constantly overthinks, stares into the stars, and feels a strange sense of homesickness for somewhere we've never been. There's even a real scientific idea called panspermia, the theory that life can travel between planets through asteroids or cosmic debris. Some scientists have suggested that the first building blocks of life on Earth may have come from somewhere else entirely. So maybe the signal we've been waiting for was never coming from out there. Maybe it was always inside us.
It's a lot better than a weather balloon, right? I mean, come on. I have to have my air conditioning. And this is supposed to be the environment where my ancestors grew up. We're supposed to have a tolerance to this. You know, within a year or two of drinking alcohol, I had a tolerance towards it. We're talking about billions of years, no tolerance. It's hot, and I don't go outside. I don't like it. So you never know. Maybe we are.
Follow my finger with just your eyes. Don't move your body.
Can I just get your ID and registration, please?
Yes, of course.
What? Hey, what? Ma'am, put that down now. I don't know if you have any weapons on you.
I am a weapon.
I need you to follow my finger with just your eyes.
I'm a disabled veteran, by the way.
Focus.
You and I should get out of here.
Don't move your body.
We would have sex.
What? Follow my finger with just your eyes. Don't move your body. Got a lazy eye or something? You will blow into this mouthpiece for 3 seconds. Do you understand?
I bet you like that.
Nice.
This chick's supposed to be dead.
What does that mean?
I don't think the system says she died 3 years
Hey
ago.
guys,
Drunk driving.
I'm gonna go.
What the? Stop! Stop! You know what? You are under arrest. You're under arrest.
No!
Behind your back.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Holy shit!
This falls into the category of please be fake. Somehow, some way, I don't even care. Just don't be real. Because that's a nightmare. And that's walking around us, and we'll never be able to tell it's something different than what we are.
Okay.
Whoa! Okay, watch closely, okay? I don't know what this is gonna be, but look at the lights. Look at the lights now, okay? And look what's flying around. What is this? Bro. What is coming by? What? Hi! See the lights now, look! Look at the train itself, look! All the lights, every light. All the simulation. All right, now we're gonna look closely now. We're gonna look at the train again. It's kind of speeding up now. Faster. Faster. Whoa. Watch all the lights now. Watch the lights go. Watch everything. Get ready. We need to turn this off soon, guys. We can turn it off. Protect your feet. Listen now. Listen. Here we go. Hang on, dog. Hang on, dog. It's almost over. You can kind of feel this. All right, go ahead. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. 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 Off.
Well, we live in a world where special effects are not hard to do anymore. And looking at everything, I've seen comments that said there are things on the cell phone that can make this kind of filter happen. There were comments that said it was a cloaked train to hide what was inside. And then we have comments that are all the way up to hologram and Project Bluebeam. I don't know. I hope I don't see one. Just give me the slow trains that stop, take forever to go by, for whatever reason, back up, and just take up my time. I'll take those over this any day.
This guy just found the end of a rainbow, and what he saw was terrifying because when he was driving, he realized he could see the end of it. In front of him, he pulled over and ran toward it, trying to see where it touched the ground. But when he got closer, he realized the color had completely disappeared, and when he looked up, he realized the rainbow had formed a massive circle right above his head. He pulled out his phone to record, but what he captured didn't make sense.
As children, we hear about the end of the rainbow. And there's supposed to be a pot of gold, I believe. Nah, that sounds real setupish to me. Back in the 80s, 90s type deal, they would send you a postcard that says you won a sweepstakes. And it'd be a boat or a vacation, even a car. Just come on down and pick it up. And when you get down there, you get arrested. It was a warrant sting. That's what it's for, to arrest you. And not once did you even think about, hey, I never entered a sweepstakes. You just wanted the free stuff. This is how that sounds to me. Keep in mind, we hear about the end of the rainbow as children. Up until that time, my whole version of the world was shaped by nursery rhymes, which are cynical. They're horrific. Jack and Jill, Hansel and Gretel, like, come on, man. So when they told me about the gold at the end of the rainbow, I'm like, as soon as you get there and you see it, whatever's there is going to just take you. I never trusted it. So If this is what's at the end of a rainbow, great. I'll never know.
In 2024, you made 3 predictions that have come perfectly true, like Trump would start a war with Iran. And you've made a series of new predictions.
Yes, and I'll explain each prediction one by one. Okay, so first, I predict that Trump will get a 3rd term.
But isn't this constitutionally illegal?
It's not. The president now has emergency war powers, and so he can actually delay the election. My second prediction is Iran is now a forever war, and the United States will institute a national draft. Meaning that if you're between 18 to 24 in America and you're male, you'll be automatically put into the draft system. And they just passed a law that says that starting December, you will be automatically registered.
Which means you're obliged to go and fight.
Exactly. Next, the world will move towards an AI surveillance state. So everything you do online is being recorded to figure out how to control you. And then this is the most controversial prediction. This is pretty bad. And I'll explain why. And also, I will tell you why this war can only lead to World War III. Why there's a very strong possibility that the American empire will collapse. And also, I'll show you what the Russians will do and how the private bankers are controlling you.
I'm not owned by anybody.
That's what you think.
So let's talk about that.
The first one has always been my narrative for this whole war thing. There's a law that says technically you can't remove a sitting president during wartime. What better way to not give up the presidency when you cannot run again other than to create a forever war?
Nigga, where am I at?
Huh?
Where the fuck am I at right now? Bro, last night was probably the worst night I've ever had in my whole life. Who know anything?
Reverse toast. You should bust that.
Brother, I'm good.
I don't understand what transpired, bro. Like, why is my body sore? Like, my whole body sore.
Because it knocks the shot out faster. You know what I'm saying?
No! Once Ray J is here, there's no escaping that nigga, bro. I mean,
Now, I always try to give clarity. I try to be fair, transparent as much as I can. If I know something, I say something. This is one of the ones where I looked in the comments and they said that this is a clip from when apparently they streamed for 24 hours straight and they worked out all night. Now, I understand that if they were live streaming for 24 hours, so they say, that why would it be anything other than the fact that they worked out? But again, it just says live stream. I have done these videos, and before I do, to make sure that my voice is okay, I drink water and things like that. And during these videos, I've got up and gone and used the bathroom for minutes and came back and got right back to it. And I challenge you to find when I did it. Some of these lights, they take batteries, they go out. If they do, I gotta fix it. I challenge you to find it. Editing is serious, and I suck at it. So if I can sit there and edit out bathroom breaks, changing things, batteries, I don't edit out my verbal mess ups. I keep that in there. But clearing my throat, things like that, you don't see any of that. So if I can do that, and I'm a dinosaur at this whole thing, I don't know anything. This dude's a multimillionaire. I'm pretty sure they can help that out. And whatever his body is really sore from, let's make it look like it's because of the workout. Keep in mind who they're saying this dude is now. I did that in a previous video. They're comparing him to Diddy. They're saying that that's who, the swap. So this really makes sense.
So now you're telling me that it has been approved in Japan, the ability to mix animal and human DNA, therefore splicing it and creating animal-human hybrids that are allowed to come to term. Now I'm gonna let you marinate that for just a second. Are you good? Are we ready to cook this chicken? Now, the reason behind it is it's supposed to potentially help with human organ donors and transplants. Therefore, if you needed a heart, a liver, a lung, a kidney, you would have access to that quicker, because if you know anything about that, it is a very lengthy process and a very challenging one for those who need organs. But there are some huge red flags and a lot of skepticism attached to it, because they're not entirely sure what the human cells will potentially do to the animal brain. And then there's also the whole thing of religion. I swear every day I wake up, I'm like, what sci-fi movie did I just get a starring role on? What timeline did we just jump on? What universe are we currently residing in? So what do you think? Is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? Let me know, put it in the comments. And obviously this is for information, education, and entertainment purposes only.
I don't know what that was behind them, but let's just hope that's not an example of what we're talking about. I understand you got to be loyal to your species, and I don't want anyone who needs a transplant to not get one, but you have to think about the beings that they're creating. If they're doing this, what about the quality of life for what they're creating? They're just going to be livestock for us to harvest their organs. And if they're half us, doesn't that mean they have feelings and they're going to have awareness and they're going to know what they are? Like, that's horrible. That's not cool. And just because you grew them in a lab doesn't mean that they'll be any less sentient or autonomous than we are. Who's to say that we are what we are? We could be somebody else's genetic lab experiment created in a petri dish, and we would be pissed off if we were just here to just serve, which that is the narrative now. We're just energy powering something bigger than us, and we're not happy about it. So I feel bad for this, but if they're gonna do it, hopefully it helps people.
I'm warning you, you're about to see some crazy shit. Keep your eye on the red dot above if you're ready to face your inner demons. Don't pay attention to me, red dot, stay focused. The faces shown to the left and right here are all perfectly normal people. But don't look at them, keep your focus steady on the red dot and your mind will slowly turn them into monsters. The flashed face distortion effect occurs when two faces are rapidly alternated while you fixate on a central point, keeping the faces right on the outskirts of your peripheral vision. Instead of seeing normal faces, the brain exaggerates differences between one face and the next, making them appear super distorted. This happens due to adaptive face perception, where the brain naturally overcompensates contrast to distinguish facial features more effectively, and only happens when you keep the faces on the edges of your peripheral vision, which causes your brain to sort of fill in the blanks, resulting them morphing into some unsettling looking creatures. But redirect your focus back on the faces and they turn right back into regular people. Don't believe me? Watch this again and look at the faces this time.
The faces weren't all too normal from the beginning. I got it to work. It took a few times because I'm very inquisitive. So when you got two things flashing on both sides of me, I can't help but keep darting my eyes to both sides, trying to see each one. But I finally, got out of my own head and said, okay, look at the damn dot. Just look at the dot. And I did that. And yeah, they started contorting and getting weird. I put this video in here because I wanted you to understand that we're already at a point to where you can't believe anything of what you hear. We were at a point to where you could believe at least half of what you see. But when you add in AI, you can't believe anything of what you see either. So be careful, because they figured out how to manipulate our mind. They can make us see monsters when there might not be any monsters there. Okay, just be careful. But this is a little trick that you notice how every time you see something, it's out of the corner of your eye. Anytime something's weird, you really don't see it directly on. It's always out of the corner of your eye. That might not be a coincidence.
There's one ritual that
the elites use, that the wealthy use, and they all use, and that is orgasm. This was a ritual. I was taught very specifically the energetic power of orgasm. And there's two ways to release that power. First is to give yourself an orgasm through masturbation. Secondly is to have an orgasm with someone else. And when you have an orgasm with someone else, if you both have an orgasm at the same time, the energy is infinitely bigger. What happens when you have an orgasm, a physical orgasm? And there's a difference, as you know, between, let's say, with a male, ejaculation and orgasm. There's a difference. You can have an ejaculation, but not necessarily an orgasm. You can have an orgasm, but not necessarily ejaculate. So when you have both the physical release as well as we'll call it the emotional, it's more spiritual, release of orgasm, you connect on a frequency that goes above the physical into various dimensions. At the top, vibratory dimension, which is the highest or lightest or less dense, is really the best way to describe it. There is a veil, and above the veil, there's nothing. It's called the static, sometimes called oneness, and sometimes God. But this is the oneness. This is the universal connected static. It doesn't have waves. It doesn't have matter, energy, space, or time. And when you have this orgasm, you connect, you actually pierce the veil, and you leave the world or the illusion of duality, and you have a connectedness to all that is. But it is not just an emotional feeling, it's an experience that surpasses all human understanding. And those who come from a Christian tradition, it actually says that in the Bible. So the ritual that we were trained in was to enjoy and have orgasm. The ultimate is to help the other person enjoy and have orgasm as well, and to experience it at the same time. It doesn't happen most of the time. It happens sometimes, but that when it does, you're at that highest level. And in that state of oneness, this is where you plant the seed of your desire, of what you want to create or manifest in life. So before we go into the act of sexual experience where we're going to hopefully lead to orgasm, we think of it's a ritual. I'm doing this, yes, for pleasure. I'm doing this to pleasure my partner, but I'm also doing this as a ritual to plant the seed into the universe, not just to benefit myself, but to benefit the whole. That's the ritual that we're taught.
True. 100% true. The truest of the true. It don't get no truer than that. True, true, and true again. And if it isn't true, let's make it true. Ladies, true. 100% true. True, 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 and true again. Yes, I'm smiling. Seriously. But yeah, I actually read something a long time ago. Don't know if it's true. But it said that you are up to 80% more likely to survive an incident where somebody uses a fatal weapon on you during that exact moment than any other time. Apparently your body's in Superman mode or Superwoman mode. And yeah, things just don't take you out. You can take pain at a tolerance level just unheard of. You can survive things. Apparently at that exact moment, you're just stronger than you've ever been. And I read that a long time ago. But true, completely true. This clip true. Anyway, that is going to do it for another episode. I'm having so much fun. I love the engagement. The subs are coming in. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. We're a unique community. Just a bunch of weirdos getting it together. And I can tell just by the comments, I'm attracting people who are like myself. I'm not normal. Never wanted to be, never tried to be. I'm just me. So if you've never considered subbing up, if you've never considered joining a community, I'm asking you to consider this one. We are not like others, and we're not going to be like others. I'm going to guarantee that. Until the next time, thank you all for watching, supporting me, keeping this whole thing going. I'm having a blast so far. I am the DJ. This is Confessing Lies or Telling Stories, and I'm out.